Hi there, I'm Samantha Stefaniak, and thanks for checking out my video. I'm here to talk about when praying feels impossible, finding God in the storm. Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by life that you just couldn't pray? Like God felt so far away, almost untouchable. If you've been there, I want you to know you're not alone. I want to share something really personal with you today because I know what it's like to struggle to find God when life feels unbearable. Early last year, I experienced a miscarriage. It was a profound grief that took a toll not just on me, but on my mental and spiritual health, and even my marriage. In that season, prayer felt impossible. I didn't even know what to say to God because honestly, I was just angry, exhausted, heartbroken. And I remember thinking, why do I always have to deal with horrible things? Why have the last 7 years of my life been filled with so much suffering? My husband and I had already been through some of the hardest experiences imaginable, and it really felt like we were just doomed to a life of pain, one thing after another. But in that darkness, I knew I had two choices. I could stay in the pain, alone and disconnected, or I could take just one small step toward healing. And for me, that step started with the sacraments. I went back to confession. I started making sure we got to Mass as a family every Sunday, even when I didn't feel like it. And slowly the graces started flowing. It wasn't instant, but I could sense God again. But here's what I realized. It wasn't just about showing up at Mass. I had to actively work on my thoughts too. Of course, I'm a therapist, so this thought naturally occurred to me once I realized I was not being helpful in the way that I was thinking about my situation. Because I kept repeating to myself, why do we always go through the hardest things in life? As if we were the only ones suffering. That thought was keeping me stuck. It wasn't helping me heal. So I had to change it. The truth is, suffering is part of the human condition. Yes, my husband and I have faced incredibly hard things together. But everyone carries a cross, even if I can't see it. And comparing my suffering to others wasn't going to bring me peace. What did help was acknowledging my thoughts, validating my feelings, and then gently challenging those thoughts to be more balanced and helpful. So, if you are in a place where prayer feels impossible, where your thoughts are telling you God isn't listening, this won't change anything anyway, I want to invite you to challenge that. When we're struggling, it's so easy to get stuck in a loop of unhelpful thoughts. These thoughts feel real and heavy, and sometimes we don't even realize how much they're keeping us from peace. But here's the thing, your thoughts are not truth itself. They are your mind's attempt to make sense of the pain. And while they need to be acknowledged, they can also be gently challenged and reshaped into something that helps you heal rather than keeping you stuck. Let's go through some common thoughts you might be having and how to work through them. There are 2 steps challenging our thoughts into more balanced and helpful thoughts. First, we have to validate our feelings. This is not toxic positivity. This is not invalidating our feelings to make us into a robot and ignore our feelings. No, we need to validate our feelings here. So the first common unhelpful thought that you might be having is, I don't know how to talk to God or pray about this. First, validate. It makes sense that you feel this way. When we're overwhelmed, words don't come easily, and prayer can feel like one more impossible thing to do. Validate that. Then, take a minute to try to think about this from an expanded perspective. This is really hard and takes time and practice, but I'm just giving you some examples today to start practicing doing this. A helpful thought to expanding our perspective to try to reframe these unhelpful thoughts is to ask yourself, what might you say to a friend that has this thought, that's sharing this thought with you? I don't know how to talk to God or pray about this. What would you say to that person? And then try to say it to yourself. So an example here of a reframe that's more helpful and balanced might look like, prayer isn't about having perfect words. It's about showing up. Even just saying, God, I don't know what to say right now, but I need you, is a prayer. Sitting in silence, crying, or even just acknowledging his presence is a form of prayer. Another unhelpful thought that's common when praying feels hard. This isn't going to help or solve the chaos anyway. Validate first. It's true. Some circumstances won't change overnight, and praying or doing the inner work will not magically remove all suffering. If a friend came to you and said, this isn't going to help or solve this chaos anyway, you'd probably validate that's true, right? What else might you say to that person? Here's a helpful reframe. But healing isn't about erasing struggles. It's about equipping yourself with the grace, strength, and clarity to face them. The more you care for your mind and soul, the more peace you can carry within the chaos, rather than waiting for the chaos to disappear. There's a whole lot of research out there in the therapy field how resisting the chaos, resisting the pain, resisting your circumstances actually contributes to a more suffering-like experience. We don't want that. Life is hard enough on its own. So how you think about it really can make a difference. A third common unhelpful thought you might be having when praying feels hard. Why do I always have to suffer? You heard this in what I experienced, right? First, validate. You've been through so much pain, and that is real. It isn't fair. We weren't actually meant to go through these things, right? When Adam and Eve fell, that's when we started to have to experience life pain. God didn't intend it this way, but here we are. It isn't fair, and it's okay to grieve the hardships you've endured. It's okay. It's actually okay to cry and grieve it. What might you say to a friend who's having the same thought? Why do I always have to suffer? Suffering is a part of every human life, but it doesn't define your entire story. Do you see this word always? Right? Always. That's black and white. That's all or nothing thinking. That is what we call cognitive distortion, a lens that we're viewing things through that is not helpful. It's not helpful to think in absolutes of black and white. Suffering is a part of every human life, but it does not define your entire story. Instead of asking, why me? Try asking, how can I invite God into this suffering? His presence doesn't take the pain away, but it transforms it into something that can deepen your strength, wisdom, and faith. You might have a lot of suffering in your life. You might be really going through some difficult things, my friend. And at the same time, I bet if you tried to look for the smallest blessings along the way, they're there too. They are. In the last 7 years with my husband, we've had a lot of suffering, yes, but we've also had a lot of amazing blessings at the same time. Can't see it when you're looking at it through the all or nothing lens, right? Just feels like you're always suffering. There's always something new that's coming up and stealing your joy. Sure, true. That's the human condition, unfortunately. And there are also a lot of beautiful blessings along the way, right? There are small things within your control that you can choose to turn to and experience some joy. while you're suffering. So I have a simple, actionable step for you today. Here's a simple prayer to just start praying when you feel stuck. Try to challenge those thoughts that are keeping you from praying, keeping you from trying to talk to God. Do your best to try to gently challenge them and just pray this simple prayer. We can pray it here together. I want you to take a deep breath and pray this with me. Lord, I don't have the words right now, but you know my heart. You see my pain, my struggles, and my fears. I don't feel close to you right now, but I want to. Help me take one step toward you today, even if that step is small. Help me challenge the thoughts that keep me from your peace and show me how to rest in your love. Please take my hand and lead me back to you. Even if I don't feel your presence yet, I trust that you are near. Amen. You can customize this however you want. This is just an example to get you started. That's it. That's your prayer today. That's your next step. You don't have to have all the words. Just start with a desire to reconnect with God and talk with him, and God will do the rest. If this resonated with you and you're looking for a faithful community of Catholic women who get it, who know what it's like to struggle mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but still want to grow closer to God, then I invite you to join the waitlist for Rooted and Grounded in Love. This is a special online community where you don't have to figure it out all on your own. You'll find support, encouragement, and real tools to help you rediscover God's peace, no matter what you're facing. Click the link below the video to join the waitlist. I'd love to walk this journey with you.